Welcome to Picture Perspective. My name's Jordan Kennedy. Before we kick off, this is general advice in nature. Should you wish to seek personal advice, please reach out to your advisor. Today we have Lawson Cullen, our IT director, to talk all things cybersecurity. Lawson, let's get into it.
Let's go.
So Lawson, why is cybersecurity such a big and important issue for all businesses?
Yeah, I think you've hit it right on the head there, Jordan. It's for all businesses, unfortunately. So the way cybersecurity's moved, it used to be a thing that was affecting big companies, your large corporates. It's a lot more opportunistic these days. It's hitting just about every business, every vertical.
And we're seeing most businesses are recruiting and resourcing up massively in this space. You know, sometimes bigger than finance functions and all other functions in the business because it's such a big issue, yeah?
Yeah, realistically, what we're seeing is most companies are trying to fight that budget versus return on investment piece. So how much can they practically throw in? And again, you're bigger end of town, bigger budgets, potentially bigger defenses. But as you get into the smaller businesses, you know, your small to medium enterprise kind of clients and organizations, some of that's just not practical.
Yeah, and it's also not a one-hit wonder, right? You do the solution one time and you fix the problem. These guys are smart.
Yeah, and they're very opportunistic as well. And that's why it is starting to hit every business. It's not necessarily all the targeted attacks. Some of it's just that scattergun approach. And if they happen to get someone working at a 5-person firm versus a 5,000 firm, they're not too worried. It's still an opportunity for them.
Still somebody on the hook.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So Lawson, are there any specific industries that are targets or prime targets for cybersecurity guys?
Yeah, on top of kind of your government and health kind of industries, we're seeing a lot around financial services, e-commerce, retail, anyone that either holds data that an attacker may be able to use or just to cause general disruption to those businesses.
And is it a case of, you know, they're there, they've got what they want, they go away, or is it persistence? They try again, they get a little snippet and then they come back and try and get something else and then try and marry up all the pieces of the puzzle?
Yeah, a lot of it, and particularly looking at kind of data breaches over the last few years, it's all little pieces of information. So, you know, we've had some pretty public breaches where you may have had your license or your TFN or something. What they're tending to do is marry all those pieces up and go, well, now we've got a bigger picture and are able to go after a bigger target or have a bigger impact on those businesses.
Yeah, okay, great. So Lawson, why is cybersecurity such an investor risk as well?
Yeah, well, on top of the business impact, a lot of it comes down to personally identifiable information. So as an investor, it's critical to think about what data you have out there. It could be things like your TFNs, date of birth. Any of that information which ties back to you is what the attackers tend to be after. So as an investor, it's very much that, well, who has that data and where am I storing it? And then kind of what are they doing to protect it?
Yeah, and I think how organisations are communicating has changed as well. You know, if I look to shares, for example, a share registry used to send out a holding statement with your HIN number on it or an identification number. That's all been scrapped now. So, you know, yes, it's been a mission for clients to locate that information now, but I think that's a good thing to sort of make more information more secure and harder to get.
Yeah, decentralising or obfuscating some of that is unfortunately the reality we live in now, where organisations have to do it to try to keep your data secure.
So Lawson, what are the emerging cutting edge trends that we're seeing in cybersecurity?
Yeah, like everything in tech, the speed of change, unfortunately, is just increasing. So things like the rise of AI over the past few years, while it's great for our, you know, everyday life, throw something in ChatGPT, unfortunately, it's also enabling a lot of attackers to utilize AI to make things better. So gone are the days of phishing having a bunch of spelling mistakes. There's a lot more polish on things now.
Oh yeah, like you see it with emails that you get, and you know, it used to be the trend of, you know, you could identify because of the language or the short or the unformatted look and feel of something that was coming through to you. I think also the leakage of data, so people are potentially at risk of releasing more of their information into those environments like ChatGPT, which then give more bait to people to penetrate in. So Lawson, what are the emerging cyber trends, the cutting edge things? Hopefully it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, part of it is, unfortunately. So the rise of things like AI, attackers are tending to use that sort of technology to get a lot more polish on their attacks. You know, gone are the days of spelling mistakes, formatting issues. Having said that, you know, your defenders, your security teams, everyone trying to protect are also using AI. So like you said, it's not all doom and gloom. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There's also things like the 2030 Australian Cybersecurity strategy that the Australian government has put together to kind of give us some guidance on what we should be doing as a country to improve our cyber posture.
So Lawson, let's bring it to a personal level. What are the tips and tricks for the layperson out there to better their position and to fend off some of these cyber criminals?
Yeah, you know, as we're recording this heading towards Christmas, it's things like the dodgy Oz Post emails, the Christmas and Boxing Day sales. It's all those sorts of things that the attackers love to impersonate. So, you know, taking that extra second, thinking about what you're clicking. Most of the time those sales are good, but if they're too good to be true, it's probably related to a scam or something malicious trying to get you to bite on it.
Yeah, the things I've learnt from you probably over the years, check where the email's coming from. Does the @ wherever come from the source that they're trying to refer to? You know, I think you're a bandit in making everybody update their passwords frequently, but I think that needs to carry on to everybody's personal environments as well. That's where I think people let their own weakness down a little bit. In a corporate environment, we're very stringent, but we're not very controlled and, you know, thorough in our personal worlds. So using some of those lessons that we learn at work and taking them into our own world. So not sharing passwords, making sure you're not using the same password across multiple different logons, family names, all those sort of things. Are there any others that are glaring that you should, you know, be careful with?
Yeah, even just hearing you say that back, it's good to know that what we do in the corporate sense has started to resonate as well. So it's not completely isolated. A lot of those same tips and tricks translate well across perfectly. So things like multi-factor, you know, looking at passphrases, a couple of words put together rather than one word with a number on the end, you know, checking your device security, checking your logons, jumping into some apps, even jumping into the website rather than clicking a link, a trusted known website. So it's all those sorts of things which help.
So although I am a very lucky guy, you know, those random emails that I get telling me that I'm the lucky beneficiary of $5 million from the Cayman Islands or wherever it is too good to be true. Use common sense, go back to reality, check the source. Make sure you keep yourself cyber aware, cyber alert, and cyber on ready, because it doesn't just stop when you leave the office. Your personal affairs are just as exposed and probably more at threat than anything else. Listen to guys like you who constantly teach, train, and give information that's cutting edge, and just be extra skeptical because it's not always that good out there.
Yep, that's exactly it. If it's too good to be true, it likely is.
Awesome. Thanks, Lawson. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for the perspective.
No worries.
Thank you for tuning in. Another great episode. Please like, share, and follow. Really enjoyed you coming along for this journey. Thanks very much.